Hmm? What was that, Gary? You didn't like that movie either? Well, why don't we talk about it? Oh.
It's Drewski McGillicuddy's The Secretary Knitpicks the Fuck out of Pet Sematary. Hey, that kind of rhymes, doesn't it?
Hey everybody, this is the Secretary, and I know nobody really wanted my opinion on this, but guess what? I had a shitty day, and Drewski McGillicuddy made me watch a shitty movie, so you're gonna get my opinion on it, whether you want it or not.
On what? Where's the poster going? What are we talking
about? The poster should go here. I'm talking about the remake of Pet Sematary from 2019. Yes, I'm one of those dyed-in-the-wool purists that really, really loved the 1989
Nobody's ever heard
version.
that expression before in their life.
Whatever. But, did this ruin my childhood after watching this movie? No. Because I can always go cleanse my palate later on by watching the actual movie that I like, which is the 1989 version. So, I was, in typical secretary fashion, taking notes while I was watching this movie because I knew there would be some complaints I would have. So, let's talk about them, shall we? Alright, first thing, I did not like that girl's face. The one who plays Ellie. Yeah, she kind of reminded me of an adult Drew Barrymore mixed kind of with Elle King and maybe Jay Leno. Because she's going to have that moon face. Sorry, but, we all know how I feel about movies with kids in them. And, this one just kind of pushed it. It really pushed it. All right, and so once they actually get to the house, and Lewis is off, I guess, at work, whatever, but Rachel and Ellie are back off to the side, and they see the procession of children walking to the pet cemetery, pushing the dead dog in the wheelbarrow. I didn't care for that. I thought that was a really unnecessary touch to the movie. I mean, it wasted time, basically. The masks, I thought, were just really stupid, because, ooh, our pets are going to die. Let's just keep some paper mache masks laying around. Or even better yet, oh, my pet just died. Hey, let me call up all the neighborhood kids. Let's all make us some masks. I thought that was really stupid. All right. Now, the next thing that really irritated the tar out of me was the fact that when Rachel had Ellie go in... Excuse me? Shut up.
Irritated the tar out of me.
It did. The tar and tarnation.
What year is it?
Anyhow, when Rachel had Ellie come in, oh, let's watch some TV, never mind this. And Ellie decides that she's going to go traipsing back and see what the kids are doing, I guess. That, really irritated me. First off, because how dare she leave the house and not tell her mom where she's going? That's just sneaky as hell. That's what really started me when I was younger hating Frosty the Snowman, was that stupid girl ran off and didn't tell her parents where she was going.
But we're not here to talk about
But we're not here to talk about Frosty the Snowman and my hate for that cartoon. No, we're here to talk about Pet Sematary and what irritated me about that. Anyhow, when she goes up there and she's looking around, and then, ooh, foreshadowing, she sees the grave that has the cat mask hanging on it, and decides to start climbing over the barrier, and she slips and falls, and what does her foot kick? It kicks a hornet's nest. And Judd comes over, oh, let me see that, let me pull that stinger out. I'm sorry, then they start talking about how she got a bee sting. That was a hornet's nest. Bees don't make paper nests. Maybe I'm just getting nitpicky, but that just irritated the crap out of me.
Oh my God.
Now, here's a plus. I did like the actress who played Rachel a whole lot better than I liked Denise Crosby's rendition of Rachel. Because she just, I don't know. Denise Crosby, bless her heart.
She's an ugly bitch.
I don't think she's an ugly bitch, but she's very stiff. very stiff, and it's
Walking
almost like
she's
she's
got
reading.
the coat hanger in her fucking padded
But
fucking
anyhow,
blazer from the 90s.
I don't know what the actress's name is that played Rachel in this, but I felt she emoted a lot better. She had a more believable performance. Now, let me skip forward a little bit to the scene where Lewis is at work and Victor Pascal is brought in. That I felt was extremely muted in this movie. There wasn't all the chaos that there should have been with this kid getting hit. And in the book, I mean, his friends are carrying him in a blanket, and he gets laid on the floor. And then there's the candy stripers, who the one starts freaking out, the other one's over here puking. And the head nurse, she has to go and slap the one and make her go and actually start doing her job while Lewis is trying to save this guy. And I mean, it's a crazy mess. In this, it's kind of like, oh, we don't have time for the ambulance. I need some units of blood. He's losing a lot of blood. I mean, where was the urgency? It wasn't there. I didn't believe that scene. And then, I mean, once he did die, and Lewis first off didn't call the time like he's supposed to. But he didn't seem like he was that shook up until he's all the way across the room, and the dude sits up and then says his name. And what did he say? The barrier shouldn't be crossed, something like that. Yeah, he didn't say my favorite line in the whole movie, which is, the soil of a man's heart is stonier. And he has to say that in order for later on when Judd says it, for it to be really impactful for Lewis. And it's not said. So, I don't know, that bothered me. And then...
Did you mention you read the book?
I've read the book. I've got both versions. As a matter of fact, this one, about halfway through, I read... Only time I have to read is when I'm in the bathtub. So, I was reading that one in the bathtub. But then I got Lee McCoy's wife's book, Roller Skating Skinny.
Roller Skate Skinny.
Roller Skate Skinny, sorry. He's got me all nervous. Shameless plug. But, so yeah, I kind of put that one on the back burner because I've owned it for years and years.
Can you make a long story short?
Hey, I've got a long list here. Leave me alone. Now, the other thing that bothered me is when Ellie's going over to Judd's house with cookies, and how freaking rude, she just walks right in his house. I'm so glad he called her out on, being in there going through his stuff. So that really irritated me. And so then, in the next scene, you've got Judd over at the Lewis and Rachel's house, at the Creed house, eating supper. So as they're talking, and Ellie goes to get up, and Judd's saying something about how he's lived there all of his life, blah, blah, blah. As it comes around the table, they kind of side shoot Gage, and the kid is sitting there picking his nose, and next thing you know, he eats a booger. That is so distracting. It was so distracting.
Could have did one more take.
They probably could have. But then the next thing that bothered me was after that, all of a sudden it's Halloween, and Lewis has got Ellie and her two friends out there, and they're getting ready to trick or treat, and Judd's like, come here, and he goes over, and there's Church dead.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that is that they totally skipped the part about going and having Church's nuts cut. In order for him to not wander.
I'll have to agree with that.
That was a huge plot point in the book. There was that in order to make sure that Church didn't wander and didn't go out into the street, they had his nuts cut. Missy Dandridge told him all about getting his nuts cut. And first off, there's no Missy Dandridge in this version. Nor, unlike in the novel, there is no Norma Crandall, because she is still alive in the book at this point. It's actually Ellie saves her life trick-or-treating. So that irritated me that neither one of the movie versions had Norma be alive and have her be like an important part in Ellie and everybody's, lives, and especially Ellie finding out about death. So that really bothered me a little bit about both of them. Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go back with the hashtag not my Judd. As much as I, love John Lithgow, yeah, he had no personality. He was very bland indeed. And I kind of get they wanted to make him more of like, oh, he's lived alone all these years, and he's not real social. Still, he had, even interacting with them after he got to be very friendly, he was just a very bland person, very, very bland character. I didn't care for it. All right, then the next thing that really irritated me was the fact that, ooh, we move into this house, now all of a sudden, oh, Rachel's hearing Zelda all over in the ceiling. And then when she's in their bedroom, which is upstairs, and there is no room above it, oh, I'm hearing her on the roof. Ooh. I thought that was stupid. I thought the whole overutilization of Zelda in this movie was stupid. Now, I must say, I did like the effects that they showed with, her back being all nasty.
I don't think they showed enough Zelda.
They did not show enough, like, full on Zelda. Because I will admit, too, that the Zelda in the original far surpassed my imagination when it came to what she looked like. That was really a creepy ass looking dude. That was just the creepiest. And I was really, like, kind of relieved when I found out that the original Zelda was played by a man made up to look like a woman, because I thought that was an ugly woman. Shut up. Next complaint was too many jump scares. The amount of jump scares in this, I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah, with the sound design.
The sound design was god awful. But no, with the atmosphere that they did make in this movie, I don't think they needed the jump scares, because it had you tense and on edge a lot. But it was just, the jump scares were
You're just
stupid.
going to sit there and talk shit the whole time?
I am. I've already said one nice thing. Okay, so then anyway, I do have one other nice thing to say, is the fact that at the birthday party, when stupid Ellie goes out playing hide and seek from the dad that's got a blindfold on anyway, she ain't supposed to go hiding in the bushes, just back away from him.
Or in the middle of the street.
Or in the middle of the street. She sees her stupid cat coming down the road that she's scared of. So what does she do? Oh, I'm going to walk out there and I'm going to just bend down and pet you in the middle of the road. That was dumb in and of itself. But the nice thing was the truck driver that was barrel-assing down the road got distracted by a phone call on his flip phone. And he flipped the phone and it said an incoming call from Sheena, which really pleased me because that was a nod to the original, where the truck driver was driving down the road and he was singing the Ramones and he was singing Sheena as a punk rocker now. I really enjoyed that one. All right, so next big complaint. This girl just got plowed over.
Oh my God, is this just a complaint list?
It is. This girl just got plowed over by a full tanker truck tank.
You know how big a truck is?
And there's no blood. Like, there is no blood. Yeah, you see the mother when she falls down, when Rachel falls down on the ground, there looks like there's blood on the back of her hand. But when Lewis goes over there and he grabs her up, and, like, there's nothing wrong with her. There's absolutely nothing wrong. She would have at least had a mashed-in face. It would have been, something would have been mashed. But no. And the other thing that I felt was lacking in this movie was you needed the tension from the funeral fight when Rachel's dad hauls off and socks Lewis and, basically blames him for his child being dead. Because they don't touch on the fact in the movie here that Rachel's parents never liked Lewis and always felt that he wasn't good enough for her, no matter how well he provided for her. So it was disappointing that Lewis and Rachel's dad didn't, do sock 'em, rock 'em robots there at the at the funeral. All right, then it was terrible that Lewis drugged Judd. That was just so wrong. I mean, just get the old guy plastered with the liquor. You didn't have to drug him. He's your friend, for God's sakes. That was terrible. Now, here was one more of my favorite parts. When Lewis takes Ellie, goes and buries her, she comes back, and she's got like the lazy droopy eyelid and the really wide eye on this side. Well, her eye is like all kinds of wonky all over where it shouldn't be. I don't know. That cracked me up a lot, because I still at this point still wanted to punch that girl in the face. Every time she opened her mouth and talked after she came back from the dead, I just wanted to punch her in the face. She shouldn't have had veining after she was dead, because, hello, she was embalmed. Embalming takes the blood out of your body. She wouldn't have had blue veins. I thought that was stupid.
But it looked good, though, right?
It looked good as far as realistic, yeah, but it wouldn't have been there.
Yeah,
She'd have been real nice and smooth. All right, I'm on to side 2 now.
Oh my God! How many minutes are you at?
I'm at 15 minutes.
Jesus.
Okay.
Christ.
And then implying that Judd buried Norma instead of just coming right out and saying it. I thought that was kind of crappy. Now maybe it was touched on in something that was cut out, a deleted scene or something, but I mean, I caught it only because I'm like, oh, okay. We're both rotting in hell, okay. I see where you're going at there.
We're going to call this video "The Secretary Knitpicks the Fuck Out of Pet Sematary."
I think you should. And then it bothered me that they had Lewis cry to Rachel and say, "Let God take his own fucking kid." I didn't like that. I'm not a very religious person, but it still bothered me that he said that. It didn't bother me so bad when Ellie said, let God have his own cat, not mine. That didn't bother me, but yeah, Lewis just bothered me when he said that. And my last bit of bitching about the movie itself was, even if I could suspend my disbelief long enough to think that Ellie could drag Rachel from the house all the way up to the pet cemetery, how the hell did she get her over the barrier? I don't believe that, not for 1 minute. That was stupid. And yeah, I didn't care for the way that the movie ended. I did not like that. Didn't like it. Oh, we're going to be a whole family of these reanimated Wendigos. Ooh, how are we going to pay our bills? He can't go to work like that. I mean, come on.
They don't need to eat anymore.
Well, no. But then, I did not at all care for that god-awful remake of the Ramones classic Pet Sematary at the very end during the credits. I turned it off. Like, ugh, no. They could have at least used the original with that. At least. To,
Blah.
make me feel better about things.
Fucking blah.
Anyway. See, I don't
Go ahead and give your rating.
Okay, my rating on this.
I'm going to surprise everybody with my new rating.
I'll surprise you with my rating. I'm going to give that a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. Only because the atmosphere was good, the cinematography was good, their color palette choice was very nice, and some of the acting was good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to lower my rating to a 6 out of 10. I still enjoy the movie. I don't think it was a complete waste of time, but it does feel rushed. Like there were things they could have put in and then things they could have left out. Mm-hmm. And it would have been quick, easy fixes, and they didn't do it. So you're losing a whole point, because I gave it a 7 on initial viewing, but now it's getting a 6. It's worth owning if you can find it for $1.50.
There you go. The only reason I watched it is because I had a Redbox code, so I got to rent it for 80 cents. Otherwise, I wouldn't have.
Anyway, isn't it past our bedtime?
Anyway, it is past his bedtime. I still probably have about 12 things to do before I can go to bed.
You don't want to learn how to edit your own video?
No, I'm not going to edit
It'll be rewarding.
This video.
Tell them what to do.
All right, so If you like what you saw here, let him know and say you want more secretary videos. Otherwise, you should like, subscribe, and there's some sort of little bell thing to let you know when Drewski McGillicuddy makes more better videos.
And if you tell your friends, I'll get her to show more cleavage.